Good day, welcome to our second quarter, and let's talk about another lesson, which is Introduction to Databases. Once again, I am your subject teacher, Mrs. Lorena de Guzman. So for this module, we are going to talk about Introduction to Databases. And let us identify what is database. A database is a collection of organized data, information, and records. Whenever you make a list of anything, list of groceries to buy, books to borrow from the library, list of classmates, list of relatives or friends, list of phone numbers, and so on, you are actually creating a database. So, for example daw, naggawa ka ng listahan ng iyong pamimilhin tuwing ikaw ay mamamalengke, ibig sabihin yun daw ay isang klase na ng database. Nakalagay din diyan that is organized data. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka lang basta-basta gumagawa ng listahan ng iyong pamimilhin sa palengke. Ino-organize mo siya in a manner na inilalagay mo kung para saan ang bibilhin mo sa groceries, ano-ano ang bibilhin mo sa groceries, ano yung iyong mga bibilhin like mga meats. So, sama-sama siya sa listahan or magkakahiwalay siya into classification kung saan tindahan mo to bibilhin, ano yung sama-sama sa tindahan na yon. So, that is what we call database. Naka-organize siya in a right manner. Next, let us identify what is the purpose of a database. Ano daw ba ang purpose nito? Ano daw ba ang kahalagahan? Para saan daw ba ang database? A database is an important document in many people's lives, especially contact numbers of close relatives and friends. Database is information that a person needs in his personal, business, social, and spiritual life. Okay, so ibig sabihin daw, ito daw ay napakahalagang dokumento ng isang tao, lalo na daw kung tulad sa cellphone, di ba? Meron tayong database doon. Anong klase ng database ang matatagpuan natin sa cellphone? So, yung ating contacts or phone contacts is naka-organize siya into alphabetical. Diba? Kung mapapansin mo yung records or phone contacts mo, naka-alphabetical siya from A to Z. So, napaka-importante nun once na meron kang itatanong or tatawagan, so makikita mo na agad siya sa iyong phone contacts. Okay, kung hindi mo kilala ang iyong mga relatives, so kung nagkakaroon tayo ng listahan, nakakalimutan sino nga ba yung pinsan ni mama, pinsan ni papa. So, napaka-importante, lalo na sa mga taong makakalimutin, meron tayong listahan ng ating mga close relatives. Okay, so malimutan ko na. Next is, let us identify or let us tackle the kinds of databases. Okay, structured database or structured database. It is also called a structured database in which a record or file of information is arranged in a uniform format. These databases are usually storage of information with similar entries, such as a list of persons born in our country, a medical database of patients' data, an inventory database of a company, and many others. So when we say structured, sabi natin dito, it's a kind of data or kind of information that is uniform. Ibig sabihin, meron daw iisang format. So for example daw diyan ay listahan daw ng mga tao na pinanganak dito sa ating bansa. Ibig sabihin, itong data na ito ay listahan lamang ng mga taong yon na nakatira dito. So, that is uniform. Or listahan daw ng mga taong merong iisang sakit. Or, pag sinabi nating uniform, listahan daw ng iyong, or it is a list of information that is alphabetical or in alphabetical order. Or maaaring it is a list of information na nakaayos into its colors or its sizes or by its shapes. Ibig sabihin daw, a kind of information that is organized in a uniform format. Meron daw siyang sinusunod na format which is iisa lamang. So, nakadepende sa iyo kung paano mo iaayos ang iyong information. That is structured database. Okay, next is free-form database from the word free. Ibig sabihin, libre, malaya. Ibig sabihin, it is a kind of information, a kind of database that is arranged in a free-form format. So, ibig sabihin, ikaw daw ang bahala kung paano mo iaayos. Kung naiintindihan mo siya ng gulo-gulo, so nasa iyo yan. It is a loose connection of information such as those you will find on the World Wide Web. A collection of your documents in a computer made from several programs can be considered as a pre-form database. So, kapag daw ang information mo, katulad na nakasave sa ating computers or laptop, ay lahok-lahok at hindi pa na-arrange, pwede pa siyang tawaging preform database. Pero once na isinort mo na yan into a kind or type of document, like for example, isinort mo na siya into that is a Word. So, magsasama-sama lahat ng file mo into Word, lahat ng file mo ng PowerPoint, lahat ng file mo ng Microsoft Excel, magsasama-sama siya or magsusunod-sunod siya according to its type of document or data. So, that is structured. Pero kapag ayan, ay binuksan mo at gulo-gulo, magkakasama at nakasort siya into different types, hindi siya nakasort, ibig sabihin loose. Ibig sabihin lahok-lahok, labo-labo, iba't ibang klase ng documents, at iba't ibang klase ng data ang laman ng iyong computer. So, that is loose, gulo-gulo. For example, nagawa ka ng listahan ng pinamalengke mo at inilista mo lamang kung ano yung mga pamimilhin mo at hindi mo pinagsama-sama kung para saan ito, kung saan ito bibilhin, kung alin dapat dito sa grocery, alin dapat sa palengke. Basta mo inilista sa iyong papel, that is loose or pre-form database. Okay, that is a kinds of database. Once again, the two kinds of databases are the structured database and the pre-form database. Okay, next is the types of databases. The first one is the operational database from the word operation. Ibig sabihin, gumagalaw, hindi siya stable. Operational database. It is a dynamic database that is used by any organization in its day-to-day operation. They are used to collect data, maintain, modify, and delete data. An example of operational database is the inventory database, which constantly changes as the company go about its daily business deals. Okay, one best example of operational database ay yung ating sari-sari store. Why it is the sari-sari store? So, kapag sinabi kasi nating sari-sari store, araw-araw ay nababago o napapalitan ang laman ng ating tindahan. And then, of course, may pumapasok na pera at may lumalabas na pera. Kasi nga, araw-araw may bumibili. So, for example, masipag mag-inventory yung may-ari ng tindahan. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng iba't iba o nagkakaroon siya ng iba't ibang databases or data tungkol sa kanyang tindahan, kung magkano ang benta niya ngayong araw, magkano ang nilabas niyang pera, magkano ang benta niya sa susunod na araw, at magkano ang nilabas na pera. Kaya naging best example dito ang ating sari-sari store. So, another dynamic database na nababago-bago ang information sa araw-araw is, for example, sa hospital, araw-araw may pumapasok na iba't ibang uri ng pasyente or iba't ibang sakit ng pasyente. Araw-araw may gumagaling at na iba't ibang tao sa iba't ibang klase ng sakit. Of course, meron diyang namamatay. So, iba't ibang klase ng data ang napumapasok sa ating hospital or sa data ng hospital. Kaya siya tinawag na operational database. From the word operational, operate, nababago araw-araw ang mga impormasyon. Okay, that is operational database. Next is an analytical database. It is a static database where data is rarely modified. This database is often used to store and track historical data to make long-term projections and analysis. An example of analytical database includes data on a global temperature to determine the effects of global warming in a certain areas for a period of time. So, it is a kind of database daw that is stable. Okay? Ibig sabihin daw, hindi nababago ang data or kung mabago man ang data ay maraming taon pa ang kailangang dumaan bago mabago ang isang data. Ang example nga daw diyan ay yung ating global warming. Hindi naman araw-araw is merong data about this particular topic. So, that is analytical data, a kind of data that is stable, hindi nababago. Okay? Again, the two types of database are the operational database, which is dynamic, nababago ang data araw-araw. And the second one is the analytical database, which is stable, hindi nababago ang data. Kung nababago man siya, ay matagal at mahabang panahon pa. Okay? Next is the structured database model. On our structured database model, we do have the hierarchical model, network model, relational model, entity relationship model, dimensional model, and the object relational model. So, we do have 6 structured database model. Sabi nga natin, pag sinabing structured, it is a kind of data that which a record of or file of information is arranged in a uniform format. So, lahat ng information natin sa structured database model ay naka-arrange daw in uniform format. Okay. The first one is the hierarchical model. As you can see, hierarchical model is a model that can be visualized as a parent-child relationship wherein a child may only have one parent, but a parent can have several other children. As you can see daw, sabi daw diyan, from the meaning of the hierarchical model, makikita mo daw siya or mabivisualize mo daw siya as an inverted tree. Bakit daw siya na-visualize as inverted tree? Okay, imagine natin yung isang puno. Sa ilalim, meron siyang ugat-ugat. And then, meron siyang trunks. Okay, trunks. And then, yung kanyang dahon. Okay, from this model, ito yung ating publisher. Siya yung ating magiging ugat. Okay. And then, ito yung trunks. And then, ito yung kanyang mga dahon. Okay, ito yung ating parent. Ito yung ating mga children. Okay, kaya siya tinawag na parent-child relationship or an inverted tree, baligtad na puno. Okay? Another way of looking at this model is is by visualizing an inverted tree nga. Sabi ko nga, ito yung ating root or yung ugat, which is the publisher, and then the trunk, and then yung kanyang dahon. Okay, the single table acts the root, okay, of inverted tree, and the other tables act as branches. To access the data from one of the tables, one has to pass through the root. This model was popular in many IBM information management system in the 1970s using mainframe computers. So, for example, I am your teacher, I am your advisor, and I need your information. Okay, the total information of yours. Who is your parent? What is your contact number? Where is your address? How old are you? What is your birthday? So, bago ko malaman daw yung mga information na yun, hindi ko siya pwedeng kuhain directly sa'yo or sa mga kapatid mo. Diba, tinawag nga natin itong parent-child relationship. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung mga children and then ito yung parent. So, sabi daw din sa hierarchical model, hindi daw ako pwedeng kumuha ng information with the authors, manuscript, deliveries, payment, bookstore, or kahit saang part ng iyong mga kapatid o kung sino man dyan sa iyong mga kapatid. Kanina daw ako kukuha ng information or data? Kay root, which is the father or the mother or your parent. Sa kanilang lang daw ako pwedeng kumuha ng information. Okay, bawal dito sa ating mga branches or sa inyong, sa mga children na to. Okay, that is hierarchical model. Dito daw tayo kukuha sa root ng ating information, bawal kang dumaan sa mga branches. Hierarchical model. Next, network model. Okay, the network model, this model was developed to address in part the problems of the hierarchical model. Ano kaya daw ang naging problema kay hierarchical model? Bakit daw kaya nagawa si network model? As with hierarchical model, it could be visualized as an inverted tree. Of course, the same with the hierarchical model, ang network model daw, pwede mo din daw siyang i-visualize as an inverted tree. Si publisher ulit yung ating root, the trunks, and this one is the branches o yung ating mga dahon. Okay, pwede din daw siyang, however, this model allows many inverted tree sharing branches. So, the difference is that the network model can access information into the branches. Okay, diba sabi natin kanina, the hierarchical model, hindi ka pwedeng mag-access ng information from the branches or from the children. Okay, dadirect ka dapat sa parent. Pero pagdating kay network, kaya doon nabuo si network, kasi daw, itong si hierarchical model ay parang madamot magbigay ng information kasi kay publisher lang or sa root ka lang, pwedeng kumuha ng information or kay parent. Pero pagdating kay network model, kung mayroon kang kailangan information like your birthday, your address, your contact number, your complete name of your parents, pwede kang kumuha kahit sang branch dito sa ating model ng network. Okay? So, pwede ka pumunta kay book category, kay book launching, kay authors. Okay? So, hindi mo na kailangan magsadya kay publisher or the root. Okay? That is network model. Madaling magbigay ng information. Okay, the next one is the relational model. From the relational model was developed by Dr. E.F. Codd of IBM in the 1970s, partly to solve the problems of the earlier database model, as well as finding a way of making database management less dependent on any application. Ibig sabihin, kaya nga tayo nag-i-evolve, laging merong nadadagdag na version. Kasi nga, laging may kulang, lagi tayong merong hinahanap. So, ibig sabihin daw sa relational model ay nagawa or na-create kasi meron pa ring problema kay network model. Okay, kung may problema kay hierarchical model dahil madamot siyang mabigay ng information, kaya nagawa sa network model, ibinigay niya lahat ng information, kahit kanino pwede mong kunin, may kulang pa din. Kaya sa relational model ay nagawa. Okay. The terms relation, attributes, and domains are used frequently in relational database models. A relation is a table with columns and rows. Okay, attributes are the names given to each columns of the relation. Domain is the value with the attribute will take. Okay, the relational database model start from a table which contains of informations. Okay, it is said that attributes and domain. So when you say attributes are the names and domain are the value. So let us see, let us identify what is the domain and what is the value. So if we are going to put the data in a table, we can identify the domain as the value. So in our table, we do have the attribute and the value, or the attribute and the domain. So the attribute is or are the names, which are names, address, contact, and birthday. So they are the attributes. So when we say domain, they are the value with which the attribute will take. Okay, value daw ni attribute. So ibig sabihin, kung ang names ay si Lorena, Bibi, Jink, at Macy, they are the domains. Okay, domains. Okay, take note, the attributes are the names given to each column. Okay, ito daw yun. Sa column 1 is names, column 2 is address, column 3 is contact, and column 4 is birthday. Okay, and then attributes or domain are the value with which the attribute will take. Okay, yun daw yung ating domain naman. Katumbas ng ating attributes. Tandaan ha, attributes, yun daw yung names ng bawat columns, and domains, yun daw yung value ng bawat attributes. Okay, so that is relational model. The next one is the entity relationship model. This model was written by Peter Chen in 1976. This model is an abstract and conceptual representation of data. So, kung ilalagay naman daw natin sa table, sa entity relationship model, paano natin makikita si abstract at si conceptual? Okay, let us have this table. Okay, this one is an example of an entity relationship model. Okay, wala pa siya sa table. So, naka-graphics pa lang siya. So, you can see yung atin daw is student. Siya daw yung ating strong type. Okay, kapag for us to identify if it is abstract or conceptual, ibig sabihin daw kapag conceptual, nahahawakan. Okay, so ibig sabihin, when I ask you, nahahawakan ba si student? So when you say student, that is the person, an individual, nahahawakan ba natin? Yes. So that is conceptual representation of data. Pag sinabi naman nating abstract, ito naman yung age. Okay, pag sinabi ba ng bata, I am 11 years old, nahahawakan mo ba yung 11 years old? Kapag binigay sa iyo yung number, nahahawakan mo ba yung kanyang mobile number? Nahahawakan mo ba yung kanyang name? Okay, so nahahawakan mo ba yung kanyang role ID and then the gender? Pag sinabi niyang female siya, okay, so that is an abstract representation of data. Take note, pag sinabi natin conceptual, nahahawakan mo siya. For example, pag sinabi natin sa table na car, so ilalagay natin below the car is the brand of the car. And then, for example, the color. Nahahawakan ba natin yung color ng car? No. Okay, so that is an abstract and conceptual. Conceptual, nahahawakan, abstract, hindi. Okay, so meron doon tayong dalawang klase ng ating entity, the tangible and the intangible. Tangible entity. Tangible entities are those entities which exist in the real world physically. Example, the person, the car. So, yun na nga yung ating conceptual. Okay? Intangible entities are those entities which exist only logically and have no physical existence. Bank account. Okay, nahahawakan ng bank account, which is numbers yun, diba? So, hindi natin siya nahahawakan. Okay, it is the same with this table. Student, si Lorena de Guzman, mahahawakan mo ba? Si Bibijing de Guzman, nahahawakan mo ba? Yes, so they are conceptual representation of data. And then, roll ID, age, gender, and mobile number, hindi nahahawakan. That is an abstract representation of data. Okay, that is an entity relationship model. The next one, or the fifth one, is the dimensional model. Is an specialized adaptation using the relational model. Okay, that is used to represent data in a data warehouse. Data warehouse is essentially a storage of all the digital data of a company or organization. In this model, a single large table of information is used using dimensions and measures. Dimension tells where, who, and what type, while measures would mean a quantity. Okay, another meaning of a dimensional model is a database structure that is optimized for online queries and data warehousing tools. It is comprised of fact and dimensions table. Ibig sabihin daw, it is a kind of information na ginagamit natin for online only. Okay, for example, fact and dimension. A fact is a numeric value that a business wishes to count or sum. Okay, so ibig sabihin ng fact, this involve numbers. A dimension is essentially an entry point for getting at the facts. Dimensions are things of interest to the business. So, for example, ilalagay natin siya as a table. Okay, take a look at this one. This is an example of a dimensional model. As you can see, we do have here, this is the fact table. So, once you click this, sabi nga natin ginagamit natin si dimensional table for an online query. So, once you click this one, sale, maglalabasan lahat ito. Okay, the product, the channel, the store, the time, the order, and the customer. And then, for you to find out, or for you to see the information inside this words, product, channel, customer, order, time, you need to click this table. Okay, tinatawag natin yung table. So, para daw makuha mo, kaya siya tinawag na dimension, may another dimension pa behind those words. Okay, kaya siya tinawag na dimensional model. Okay, so hindi mo agad makikita si information agad-agad. Kailangan mo pa siyang i-click isa-isa para makita mo yung information behind those words. Okay, pag ililipat natin siya sa table, so ito siya. Okay. So, these are the facts: customer, order, time, store, channel, and product. Okay, those are the facts. And these are the dimension. Okay, let us change the format. Okay, those are the dimension. Okay, facts daw. So, once you click the facts, so, hindi nyo makikita yung laman natin. So, naka-hide daw itong mga ito. And then, once you click customer, maglalabasan yung mga names ng ating customer. Once you click the order, maglalabasan din yung kanilang mga orders. Okay, that is facts. And then, once you click, lalabas yung kanilang dimension. Okay. The last one, or the sixth one, is the object relational model. It's a model that utilizes the relationship model as well as the object-oriented programming paradigm. This model attempts to bring together database and application programming closer together. Okay, this is an example of the object relational model. Okay, bakit siya tinawag na object relational model? In this table, we do have two objects that is the same. Okay, take a look at the activity code and activity code. So, once you click activity code, may lalabas pa ulit siyang another activity code. Bakit? Para saan po yun, miss? Okay, para daw confirm natin yung data behind that word activity code. Ibig sabihin, nandyan daw, mas sigurado daw natin na tama yung ating data na hinahanap or kukuhain. Kasi may dalawa siyang, mayroon tayong two words that has a relationship with each other. Kaya siya tinawag na object relational model. Dalawang object na parehas na merong iisang information. So, kapag nagkuha ka ng information kay activity code at pinuntahan mo ulit si another activity code at napansin mong meron silang differences, oy, teka, mali ito. So, makukonfirm mo kung tama o mali yung data na kinukuha mo from that table. Okay, object relational model. Okay, again, we do have the sixth kind of database model. The first one is the hierarchical model, which is, you can visualize this as a parent-child relationship or an inverted tree. Okay, the next one is the network model. You can visualize this the same with as an inverted tree. But the difference is that in hierarchical model, you can access the information only on the root. Okay? Sa root mo lang daw ma-access yung information kapag dating kay hierarchical. Pag dating naman kay network model, ma-access mo daw yung information kahit saang branches ng ating table. Okay, the next one is the relational model that consists of attributes and domains. Okay, the attributes and domain, daw, kapag nalagay daw natin yan sa table, ay magiging ganito daw ang itsura ng ating relational model, which has attributes and domain. The attributes are the names between each columns, and the domains are the data of the attributes. Okay, that is relational model. The next one is the entity relationship model that has an abstract and conceptual representation of data. Pag sinabi natin conceptual, nahahawakan natin yung data, no? Kapag sinabi natin, for example, is Lorena de Guzman, of course, nahahawakan mo si Lorena de Guzman. Pag sinabi natin car, nahahawakan mo si car. Pag sinabi natin plants, nahahawakan mo. Cellphone, nahahawakan mo. So, that is conceptual. And an abstract is yung kanyang information. Okay, for example, information ni car, the number of the car, the color of the car, the date manufactured of the car. So, hindi siya nahahawakan. That is an abstract. So, when we say dimensional model naman, it is a specialized adaptation. So, pag sinabi natin dimensional model, it is a kind of data daw naman na meron ka lang isang data na pwede mo siyang i-click, and then once you click that, lalabas lahat ng information. So, ginagamit daw natin siya for online queries. Kapag meron kang tanong, meron kang kailangan, just click student, lalabas lahat ng information about that particular student. And the last one is the object relational model. Is a model that utilizes relationship model. Pag sinabi nating object relational model, meron tayong dalawang object na merong magkaparehas or magkaparehas na object na meron ding iisang information. It is used to confirm the data. Okay? For confirmation only. Okay, so that is the structured database model. 6 is structured database model. Okay, the next one is the relational database management. Okay, so those are the things you can do with RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. Things you can do with this: create a database. Personal and business database need to be created in relational database management. Programs will help facilitate this process. Database creation is made easier and faster because of these programs. Okay, many of them have templates to choose from, so you do not have to start from scratch. Okay, so pinag-uusapan lang natin dito ay yung ating gagamiting template or yung gagamitin nating application in creating a database management system. Okay, next is the information storage. Once your database is created, it is now easy to add information into your database. So, once na-open mo na daw yung inyong database or yung template natin, which is the Microsoft Access, pwede mo na siyang lagyan or lagyan ng mga information. For example, if you have a list of MP3 music, so pwede mo na daw siyang isave on the Microsoft Access application. New music becomes available, so you simply add this data in your database and categorize into attributes you have created, whether it is jazz or rock, classical, or modern. Okay? Next is information retrieval. Since your database is created, okay, so kapag nakapag-create ka na daw, at once na na-close mo na yung data or yung Microsoft Access, once you open your Microsoft Access, mariretrieve mo din ulit yung data na ginamit mo last time you use it or last time you open it. Kahit nakasave na or hindi mo pa siya na-save, mariretrieve mo din agad yung file na yon. That is specific file, information retrieval. The next one is the information management. RDBMS programs allows you to use and modify the information in a database according to your needs. You may add attributes, okay, for example, to your music database so that you would be able to sort and arrange it according to the artist, date, okay, diba? Pag sinabi natin attributes, yun daw yung mga names between columns, okay? Next is the information analysis. The most important functions of a database in using it, data accumulated and gathered is an asset in this information age. For example, in a business, you would be able to track the interest of a certain generation of people and interest of clothing, music. Okay, so yung template daw na yun is ginawa for business. So if you want to build a business, so magagamit po daw sa Microsoft Access kasi meron daw siyang information analysis. So marami daw siyang built-in commands na pwede mong gamitin in building your business or in planning your business. Next one is print share information. Of course, kapag may ginawa kang data or information in the Microsoft Access application, pwede mo siyang i-print. Opo. For purposes of a hard copy, information may be printed and stored as backup copy in case a digital copy of the database gets corrupted. Okay, so once na-create mo na yung iyong database, nakapagplano ka na kung anong business ang gagawin mo, na-stored mo na lahat ng data na kakailanganin for your business, pwede mo na siyang i-print in case daw na ma-corrupt yung file mo. Of course, meron ka ng hard copy. Okay, that is Relational Database Management System. So that's it for this week's module, okay, for this week's lesson. Okay, the qualities of good database information will be tackled on our next module. Okay, that's it for this week's lesson. I hope you understand the lesson. Go back to your module and answer the following activities.